Okay, we just learned that 3 of the 4 organic molecules are made up of repeating units known as monomers. And so in this video, we're going to take a look at how those monomers link up to form the larger polymer or the larger molecule. So this has a couple names to it. Probably the most common one you'll see in our class is dehydration or dehydration synthesis, and you'll see why it's called this is you'll see that water is removed or water is formed in the process of synthesizing or making bonds. Now this is a class of reactions called condensation reactions. So if you see that, that's also correct, which is a class of reactions known as polymerization reactions, reactions that form polymers. So any one of these terms accurately describe monomers joining together to form polymers or the formation of polymers. And again, the most common one you'll probably see in our classes, dehydration reactions or dehydration synthesis reactions. All right, so we're going to go with that. I'm going to use 2 examples to illustrate this process. The first one I'll use are monosaccharides. Right, so remember, these are the monomers for carbohydrates. Monosaccharides joining to form polysaccharides. Poly meaning many, sugars. Right, so monosaccharides are these ring-shaped monomers. And so just imagine we have several of those. And the question is, how do they link up to form this larger complex polysaccharide, this polymer, monomer, polymer? Well, on each of these monomers, there's an H and there's an OH. There's a hydrogen and there's a hydroxide. And because of those, they're not able to form a bond. So what we need to do is remove an OH from one of the monomers and an H from another monomer, and that's going to lead to a water molecule forming. All right, water is going to be removed, and in its place will be a bond, a covalent bond that links the 2 monomers together. All right, and the reverse is true when bonds break. Water is used to break these bonds, but we're just going to focus on how these are joined because that's the eligible content on our in our course. All right, so the other example I'll use is amino acids. How amino acids form polypeptides. Polypeptides. Right. Poly meaning many, peptides, and this is just another name for proteins. They're not exactly the same, but in our class, they refer to the same thing. All right, so we simplified amino acids like this. And so how do those monomers, those amino acids, link up? To form this polypeptide chain, which will eventually fold and take its shape and become a protein. Well, again, each of these monomers have an H and an OH, a hydrogen and a hydroxide. On hydroxyl on each of the sides of the monomer. So what's going to happen is an OH and an H is going to be removed, and that's going to form a water molecule, right? Hence the name, dehydration, right? So, and in its place will be a bond. Now, this example, this bond has a special name. So we want you to know that it's called a peptide bond. All right? It's the only one of the three that has that we want you to know what the bond is called.